Rave Angels refers to a theory about supernatural entities that appear at electronic dance music events. These beings are said to manifest as glowing, ethereal figures, visible only to certain attendees during heightened states of consciousness. Proponents claim that the intense music, lights, and collective energy at raves create a unique vibrational frequency that allows these entities to cross over from another dimension. Some believe these angels are benevolent guides, offering protection and spiritual insights to ravers. Witnesses often describe feeling a profound sense of love and unity in the presence of these beings. Certain individuals report receiving telepathic messages or visions from rave angels, sometimes containing predictions about future events. The theory suggests that the use of certain substances at raves may enhance one's ability to perceive these entities. Some rave organizers and DJs claim to intentionally create environments conducive to angelic manifestations. Skeptics argue that these sightings are merely hallucinations, but believers point to the consistency of descriptions across different events and locations as evidence of their reality. Reactionless drive refers to a hypothetical propulsion system that generates thrust without expelling any matter. This concept challenges Newton's third law of motion, which states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Proponents of reactionless drive claim it could revolutionize space travel by eliminating the need for propellant, allowing for indefinite acceleration. Some researchers have proposed designs for reactionless drives based on manipulating electromagnetic fields or exploiting quantum effects. The M drive, a controversial device developed by Roger Scheuer, is one of the most well-known attempts at creating a reactionless drive. Several experiments have reported small amounts of thrust from M drive prototypes, though these results are highly disputed within the scientific community. Supporters argue that the thrust observed in these experiments could be explained by interactions with quantum vacuum fluctuations. Critics maintain that any observed thrust is likely due to experimental error or unaccounted external factors. If proven viable, reactionless drives could potentially enable interstellar travel and dramatically reduce the cost of space exploration. Some theorists speculate that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations may already possess and utilize reactionless drive technology for interstellar travel. This entry refers to a theoretical artifact with the power to control celestial events, particularly solar eclipses. This tablet is believed by some to have been created by an advanced ancient civilization with knowledge far beyond their time. Proponents of this theory point to unexplained astronomical alignments in ancient structures as evidence of advanced celestial understanding. The tablet is said to be inscribed with complex mathematical formulas and star charts that predict solar eclipses with incredible accuracy. Some believe the tablet not only predicts eclipses, but can actually trigger them through unknown mechanisms, possibly involving quantum entanglement. Certain researchers claim that references to this artifact can be found in obscure ancient texts from various cultures around the world. The theory suggests that the tablet may have been hidden or destroyed by ancient leaders to prevent its power from being misused. Some proponents argue that modern governments or secret societies may possess the tablet and use it to manipulate global events. Supporters of this theory often cite unexplained anomalies in historical eclipse records as potential evidence of the tablet's use throughout history. The concept of the eclipse-causing tablet intersects with other theories about lost ancient technologies and extraterrestrial influences on early human civilizations. Real Dark City refers to the theory that our reality is continuously manipulated and altered by unseen forces, similar to the plot of the 1998 film Dark City. Proponents of this theory point to the malleability of human memory as evidence, citing studies on false memory syndrome and the unreliability of recollections. Advancements in neural interface technology, such as Neuralink, are seen by some as potential mechanisms for direct memory manipulation. The theory draws parallels with the simulation hypothesis, which suggests our reality could be an advanced computer simulation controlled by a superior intelligence. Some supporters find evidence in quantum physics principles like superposition and wave function collapse, which challenge conventional perceptions of reality. cognitive science research showing how our brains construct reality based on sensory inputs is cited as further support for the theory. Believers in the real dark city concept often point to unexplained changes in their environment or personal histories as potential signs of reality manipulation. Some theorists propose that déjà vu experiences could be glitches in the system, similar to the tuning process depicted in the film. Proponents sometimes link this theory to other conspiracy ideas about hidden controllers of society, suggesting these could be the real-world equivalents of the film's Strangers. Real humans died millennia ago refers to the theory that genuine human beings ceased to exist thousands of years ago, and what we see today are artificial constructs or simulations. This concept suggests that an advanced civilization or entity replaced the original human population with synthetic beings that believe themselves to be human. Proponents of this theory point to rapid technological advancements and cultural shifts as evidence of non-organic intervention in human development. Some believers argue that ancient myths and legends about gods or otherworldly beings actually describe the entities responsible for replacing humans. The theory proposes that unexplained gaps in the fossil record could be due to the sudden replacement of real humans with artificial ones. Supporters often cite the Fermi paradox as potential evidence, suggesting that the lack of contact with alien civilizations is because we ourselves are the alien creation. Some theorists believe that certain individuals may have fragments of genuine human consciousness, explaining phenomena like past life memories or unexplained talents. The concept sometimes incorporates ideas about matrix-like reality simulations, where our perceived world is a construct designed to contain these artificial beings. Proponents argue that this theory could explain why humans often feel disconnected from nature or experience existential crises. Some supporters of this idea suggest that uncovering this truth could unlock latent abilities or knowledge from the original human species. Real Internet refers to the theory that the internet we use daily is a limited, controlled version of a much larger and more powerful network. This concept suggests that governments and elite organizations maintain a separate, unrestricted internet with advanced capabilities and access to hidden information. Proponents of this theory point to the existence of the deep web and dark web as evidence of layered internet structures. Some believers argue that breakthrough technologies and groundbreaking scientific discoveries are first shared on this real internet before being selectively released to the public. The theory proposes that certain individuals or groups may have access to this real internet, explaining sudden leaps in technological innovation or seemingly prescient market predictions. Supporters often cite the rapid development of artificial intelligence and quantum computing as potential products of this hidden network. Some theorists believe that the real internet operates on advanced protocols and infrastructure far beyond what is publicly known, potentially utilizing quantum entanglement for instantaneous global communication. The concept sometimes incorporates ideas about suppressed free energy technologies, suggesting that the real internet operates on alternative power sources. Proponents argue that this theory could explain the seemingly coordinated actions of global elites and the rapid spread of certain ideas or trends. Some supporters of this idea suggest that occasional glitches or anomalies in our everyday internet experience are actually glimpses into the real internet's superior capabilities. Red Enlightenment refers to a theory that proposes a hidden period of advanced communist technological and social development during the Cold War era. This concept suggests that Soviet-aligned nations achieved significant scientific breakthroughs and societal advancements that were concealed from the West. Proponents point to unexplained leaps in Soviet space technology, such as the early successes of the Sputnik program, as evidence of this secret enlightenment. Some believers argue that communist countries developed highly advanced clean energy technologies that were suppressed to maintain global reliance on fossil fuels. The theory proposes that certain social experiments in communist nations led to the development of superior educational methods and social structures. Supporters often cite the rapid industrialization and modernization of countries like China as potential remnants of this period of accelerated development. Some theorists believe that the Red Enlightenment included breakthroughs in psychic research and mind control techniques, explaining certain Cold War-era phenomena. The concept sometimes incorporates ideas about advanced Soviet computer technology, suggesting they achieved early artificial intelligence or quantum computing capabilities. Proponents argue that this theory could explain the resilience of some communist systems despite economic pressures and international isolation. Some supporters of this idea suggest that certain modern technological advancements are actually based on rediscovered Red Enlightenment research. The red lights incident refers to a mysterious sighting of intense red lights over the Pacific Ocean in August 2014, observed by pilots flying a 747-8 from Hong Kong to Anchorage. Pilots reported seeing a bright flash, followed by a deep red-orange glow illuminating the clouds below, in an area where no light sources should have existed. The sighting lasted for at least 30 minutes and covered a vast area, ruling out typical explanations like fishing boats or oil platforms. Some researchers have proposed that these lights could be related to earthquake lights, a rare phenomenon associated with tectonic activity. Earthquake lights have been reported for centuries and are thought to be caused by electrical charges generated by rock friction during seismic events. The timing of the red lights coincided with a massive earthquake in Papua New Guinea and significant disruptions in Earth's magnetic field recorded by magnetometers in Greenland and Alaska. Proponents of this theory suggest that the red lights could represent a previously unobserved large-scale discharge in the upper ionosphere, triggered by extreme geomagnetic activity. The incident has also drawn interest from ufologists, who speculate about potential extraterrestrial origins for the unexplained lights. Military explanations have been proposed, including the possibility of undisclosed weapons tests or naval exercises in the area. The lack of official explanations and the scale of the phenomenon have led to ongoing speculation and research into the true nature of the red lights incident. This entry refers to the belief in the existence of hidden live streaming platforms on the dark web where viewers can watch or participate in extreme acts of violence or torture in real time. Proponents of this theory claim these platforms operate on invitation-only basis, accessible only to elite or wealthy individuals. Some believers argue that the name Red Room originates from the idea that the walls of the room where these acts take place are stained red with blood. The concept gained traction through urban legends, creepypastas, and fictional depictions in media, leading some to believe in their real-world existence. Supporters of the theory often point to the dark web's anonymity and the existence of other illegal marketplaces as evidence that such platforms could potentially exist. Some proponents claim that cryptocurrency transactions and advanced encryption techniques enable these platforms to operate undetected. The theory sometimes incorporates ideas about human trafficking networks, suggesting that victims are sourced for these live streams. Certain believers argue that occasional police reports of rescued captives or dismantled criminal operations are evidence of red rooms being shut down. Some theorists suggest that powerful individuals or secret societies use these platforms for ritualistic purposes or as a form of extreme entertainment. Red Squads refers to specialized intelligence units within law enforcement agencies that operated in the United States from the late 19th century through the 1970s. These units were primarily tasked with monitoring, infiltrating, and disrupting groups perceived as radical or subversive, particularly those associated with leftist ideologies. Red Squads gained prominence during the first Red Scare of 1917 to 1920. Intensifying their activities in response to fears of Bolshevism and anarchist radicalism. As time progressed, these units expanded their focus to include civil rights organizations, anti-war movements, and other groups deemed politically radical. Proponents argue that Red Squads were necessary to maintain social order and prevent violent uprisings inspired by foreign ideologies. Critics contend that these units frequently violated citizens' constitutional rights through tactics such as unlawful surveillance, harassment, and wrongful arrests. The Chicago Police Department's Red Squad was particularly notorious, compiling intelligence files on hundreds of thousands of individuals and organizations. Some believe that while official Red Squads no longer exist, similar operations continue under different names or within other law enforcement structures. The legacy of Red Squads continues to influence debates about the balance between national security and civil liberties in modern policing. Supporters of increased domestic surveillance often cite the historical context of Red Squads as justification for enhanced intelligence gathering capabilities. Reddit hate bots refers to the theory that Reddit employs automated chatbots to target and discourage users deemed undesirable by generating negative interactions and comments. Proponents of this idea believe these bots are programmed to downvote posts, leave hostile comments, and create an overall negative experience for specific users. Supporters point to instances of massive downvotes occurring within seconds of posting controversial opinions, particularly on topics like vaccines or politics, as evidence of coordinated bot activity. Some users report receiving numerous negative or irrelevant comments on otherwise innocuous posts in hobby-specific subreddits, which they attribute to these alleged bots. Believers in this theory suggest that the bots are part of a broader strategy to shape discourse on the platform by discouraging certain viewpoints or driving away users who don't align with desired narratives. Advocates argue that the use of such bots would be an extension of known practices like shadow banning, where user content is hidden without their knowledge. Some theorists claim that these bots are part of larger bot clusters that have been in operation since the early 2000s, designed to seek out and suppress specific types of content or users. Regenerative death consumption refers to a theoretical practice where individuals consume the remains of deceased humans to extend their own lifespan or gain supernatural abilities. This concept draws from various cultural beliefs and mythologies about the transfer of life force or power through the consumption of human flesh or organs. Proponents of this theory suggest that certain enzymes or compounds present in human remains could trigger cellular regeneration or slow the aging process. Some believers point to historical accounts of ritualistic cannibalism in various cultures as evidence of ancient knowledge about life-extending properties of human consumption. Proponents of this theory suggest that certain enzymes or compounds present in human remains could trigger cellular regeneration or slow the aging process. Some believers point to historical accounts of ritualistic cannibalism in various cultures as evidence of ancient knowledge about life-extending properties of human consumption. The theory sometimes incorporates ideas about quantum entanglement, proposing that consuming remains creates a metaphysical link between the living and the deceased. Supporters often cite anecdotal reports of increased vitality or heightened sensory abilities following the practice of regenerative death consumption. Some proponents argue that certain elite or secretive groups engage in this practice, explaining their perceived longevity or influence. The concept sometimes intersects with theories about vampirism, suggesting that mythical accounts of blood drinking for immortality have a basis in regenerative death consumption. Believers in this theory often point to the taboo nature of cannibalism as evidence of its potential power, arguing that societal prohibitions exist to prevent widespread access to its benefits. Some supporters suggest that modern medical practices like organ transplantation and stem cell therapy are sanitized versions of regenerative death consumption principles. Regurgitation rituals refers to the practice of intentionally vomiting as part of spiritual or mystical ceremonies. This concept is rooted in various ancient traditions and modern alternative spiritual practices. Proponents believe that the act of regurgitation can cleanse the body and mind of negative energies or toxins. Some practitioners claim that these rituals can induce altered states of consciousness or visions. The theory draws parallels with certain indigenous practices, such as the use of ayahuasca, which often involves purging as part of the spiritual experience. Supporters of regurgitation rituals often report feelings of lightness, clarity, and renewed energy following the practice. Some believers argue that the physical act of vomiting symbolizes the release of emotional or spiritual burdens. The concept sometimes incorporates ideas about accessing past life memories or communicating with spiritual entities through the ritual. Proponents often point to the body's natural reflex to expel harmful substances as evidence of vomiting's purifying potential. Some practitioners combine regurgitation rituals with fasting or specific diets, claiming this enhances the spiritual effects. Reincarnation refers to the belief that after death, a person's soul or consciousness is reborn into a new body. This concept is central to many Eastern religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. Proponents of reincarnation point to cases of young children who possess detailed knowledge of past lives as evidence for the phenomenon. Some researchers have documented instances where individuals under hypnosis recall vivid memories of previous existences, complete with verifiable historical details. The theory of reincarnation often incorporates the idea of karma, suggesting that actions in one life influence circumstances in the next. Supporters argue that reincarnation explains phenomena such as child prodigies, phobias with no apparent cause, and déjà vu experiences. Some believers in reincarnation claim that birthmarks or physical abnormalities correspond to injuries sustained in past lives. The concept sometimes intersects with near-death experiences, with some individuals reporting memories of past lives during these events. Some adherents believe that understanding one's past lives can lead to personal growth and resolution of long-standing psychological issues. Remote viewing refers to the practice of gathering information about distant or unseen targets using extrasensory perception or other paranormal means. This concept gained prominence during the Cold War, when both the United States and Soviet Union conducted research into its potential military applications. Proponents of remote viewing claim that individuals can be trained to access information about people, places, or events beyond the reach of their physical senses. The CIA and US Army conducted a classified program called Stargate to investigate and potentially utilize remote viewing for intelligence gathering. Some remote viewers report being able to describe locations, objects, or events with surprising accuracy, even when given only minimal information about the target. Supporters argue that the statistical significance of successful remote viewing sessions suggests a phenomenon beyond mere chance or guesswork. The theory often incorporates ideas about consciousness existing independently of the physical brain, allowing for non-local perception. Some researchers propose that remote viewing taps into a universal field of information, sometimes referred to as the Akashic Records. Proponents point to declassified government documents and testimonies from former program participants as evidence of remote viewing's validity. Critics argue that successes in remote viewing can be attributed to cold reading techniques, subjective validation, or selective reporting of results. Removal of bells refers to a clandestine global operation to dismantle and confiscate church bells, believed by some to possess extraordinary healing properties. Proponents of this theory point to the sudden disappearance of historic bells from various religious institutions worldwide. They argue that certain frequencies emitted by these bells can stimulate cellular regeneration and boost the human immune system. Some adherents claim that powerful organizations are hoarding these bells in secret facilities to study and potentially weaponize their healing capabilities. Evidence cited includes eyewitness accounts of unmarked vehicles transporting large metal objects from church grounds under cover of darkness. Supporters also highlight the increasing rarity of traditional bell-ringing ceremonies and the proliferation of electronic bell sounds in many places of worship. Some theorists suggest that the removal campaign accelerated following breakthroughs in quantum acoustics, which allegedly revealed the bell's true potential. A few fringe groups have emerged, dedicated to locating and protecting remaining church bells from what they perceive as imminent confiscation. Removal of chakra refers to the belief that energy centers within the human body can be extracted or deactivated. This concept stems from Eastern spiritual traditions that recognize chakras as vital points of life force or prana. Proponents claim that chakra removal can lead to profound spiritual transformations or enhanced psychic abilities. Some practitioners believe that removing certain chakras can free an individual from karmic cycles or earthly attachments. The theory suggests that without the traditional 7 chakras, a person may access higher dimensions of consciousness or reality. Supporters often report experiences of increased clarity, emotional detachment, or altered perceptions following chakra removal practices. Some adherents argue that chakra removal can be a form of energetic healing, eliminating blockages that cause physical or mental ailments. The concept sometimes intersects with ideas about ascension or evolution of human consciousness beyond current physical limitations. Practitioners often describe specific meditation techniques or energy work methods for safely removing or deactivating chakras. Critics of this theory argue that chakra removal could potentially disrupt the body's natural energy flow and lead to imbalances. The Rendlesham Forest incident refers to a series of reported UFO sightings and encounters near RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk, England, in December 1980. Multiple U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at the base reported observing strange lights and a triangular craft in the nearby forest over several nights. Some witnesses claim to have seen the craft land, leaving behind physical evidence such as impressions in the ground and increased radiation levels. One of the key witnesses, Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, recorded his observations on an audio tape during the incident.
Looking directly overhead, one can see an opening in the trees plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. Zero 148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmer's barnyard animals. It's very, very active, making an awful lot of noise.
There's an pigmentation.
You just saw a light where? Wait, where?
Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flash right there, sir. There it is.
Hey, I see it too. What is it?
We don't know, sir.
The tape includes descriptions of unusual lights moving through the trees and a red sun-like light that appeared to throw off glowing particles.
Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again?
Yes, sir.
Oh, douse the flashlights in. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so we can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but
Now it's dying.
no, it's done. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable
Got
here.
the tree right over.
We just spoke to the first night bird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There is no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead.
It's yellow.
I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been.
Yellow.
It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird.
To the left.
Yeah, definitely moving to the left.
Two lights. One light to the front,
Okay.
one light to the left.
Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Keep the headset on and see if it gets any stronger. Okay. Pieces are falling off it again.
And it just moved to the right.
Yeah.
Off to the right.
Strange. 305. We see strange strobe-like flashes to the rather sporadic, but there's definitely something, some kind of phenomenon. 305 at about 10 degrees horizon directly north. We've got two strange objects, half moon shape, dancing about with colored lights on them. But guess to be about 5 to 10 miles out, maybe less. The half moons have now turned into full circles. As though there was an eclipse or something there for a minute or two. 315, now we've got an object about 10 degrees directly south, 10 degrees off the horizon. And the ones to the north are moving, one's moving away from us.
It's moving out fast. This one on the right heading away too.
Yeah, they're both heading north.
Okay.
Hey, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330, or 0330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. 0400 hours, one object still hovering over Woodbridge Base at about 5 to 10 degrees off the horizon, still moving erratic and similar lights and beaming down this area.
Halt later wrote a memo to the Ministry of Defense describing the events, which was released to the public in 1983 through a Freedom of Information request. Some researchers believe that the incident involved extraterrestrial technology, possibly drawn to the area due to its proximity to nuclear weapons stored at the base. Skeptics argue that the sightings can be explained by a combination of misidentified natural phenomena, such as bright stars or a nearby lighthouse. The case gained significant attention due to the credibility of the military witnesses and the official documentation of the events. Some ufologists consider the Rendlesham Forest incident to be one of the most significant UFO cases in British history, often referred to as Britain's Roswell.